Welcome. Welcome to the Everything Podcast, Season 2, Episode 68. So in today's episode, we're getting back to the Modern Doctor Who reviews in preparation for the 60th anniversary specials, which premiere in November. But before we get to the 60th, we've got some reviews to do. And before we get to the reviews, it's time for this episode's feature, titled Coming Up This Week. So obviously, to give more Doctor Who reviews, all of the features. So obviously this features coming up this week. We will also going to have inspirational quote, book extracts, 3 and 30, find the replay Timey Wimey, which episode 1 premiered in yesterday's episode. So episode 2 will be next week, and the weekly recap and weekly quiz. But without further ado, let's get to the reviews. And before I get to that, here were the trailers released ahead of Series 7, Episode 11 of Modern Doctor Who, titled The Crimson Horror.
We are going to the north.
Sweetville, an ideal community for happy, prosperous workers. No one who ever goes to live there ever seems to come out. I suspect all is not quite as it seems.
Time for a plan.
You do seem to keep turning up like a bad penny, young man.
The Crimson Horror. That's what they're calling it.
My plans must be accelerated.
Mrs. Gilliflower, we've got to stop her.
In the wrong hands, that venom could wipe out all life on this planet.
Mark Gatiss, that gorgeous man, and he just sort of writes love letters to Doctor Who. Great cast, Rachel Sterling, Diana Rigg, a Victorian romp against a great old foe, a real mean old woman. And it's sort of nice having the Doctor and his gang back. And I always like going back into the past.
It's set in Victorian England, so it's got that wonderful kind of crepuscular Victorian quality. And it's got a whole wonderful cast of grotesques and quirky characters. And Strax is back wearing the top hat in the final scene, which is worth the entire episode. Just seeing the top hat staying on my head. It was glued on.
Doctor.
Oh, great attack of the supermodels. Time for a plan.
Now, Doctor, this one's on me.
Is a plan.
Okay, so, not London 1893, Yorkshire 1893. Near enough.
You're making a habit of this, getting us lost.
Sorry, it's much better than it used to be. Ooh, I once spent a hell of a long time trying to get a gobby Australian to Heathrow Airport.
What for?
Search me. Anyway. Braveheart Clara.
So those were the teaser trailers for Series 3, Episode 11 of The Crimson Horror, released before that episode. But now it's time for my review of Series 7, Episode 11, The Crimson Horror. So in this story, the Paternoster Gang return, last seen in the 2012 Christmas special, The Snowmen. The Doctor states the obvious to Clara, with Madame Vastra being a lizard, and to the Doctor, Clara and the Paternoster Gang save the day. Here are a few clips from Series 7, Episode 11, The Crimson Horror. But next up is some trailers for Series 7 Episode 12, The Nightmare in Silver. Here it is. Here they are, even.
Hedgewick's World, the biggest and best amusement park there will ever be.
It closed down. Reports of people just vanishing. No need to panic, my young friends. We all know there are no more living Cybermen.
Attack formation quickly!
Don't wander off.
Take defensive positions.
Hail to you, the Doctor, savior of the Cybermen.
Doctor and Clara have taken two children to an amusement park. Very rapidly, they find themselves embroiled in a very peculiar galactic empire where it is believed that Cybermen are completely extinct. It soon becomes apparent that a Cyberman is remaining.
It's always great to have the old foes come back, but to have them reinventive and had evolved just ever so slightly. Couple that with Cybermen trying to destroy the world, and Cybermen that aren't as slow as they used to be. They're quicker, they're faster, they're zippier. And I think that makes them all the more terrifying.
This time, it's going to get very, very personal for the Doctor.
Angie! She always has to turn up and spoil everything. I wasn't doing anything. Why can't you just leave me alone?
Angie!
Attack formation!
Yes, and that was it for the teasers released ahead of Series 7 Episode 12, Nightmare in Silver. It is now time for my review for that episode. So this story features the return of the Cybermen, last seen in Series 6 Episode 12, Closing Time. During the story, there is a battle for the Doctor's mind, the Doctor versus Mr. Clever. This ends up in the ultimate gamble for the Doctor. The Doctor threatens to regenerate, the Doctor and Mr. Clever are still battling for the Doctor's mind, Clara is in charge of the Cybermen resistance group, and Clara slaps Doctor. Here are a few clips from Series 7, Episode 12, titled Nightmare in Silver. Next up is a few trailers released ahead of the Series 7 finale, titled The Name of the Doctor. Here they are.
There is one place you must never go.
Where? This is the Doctor's greatest secret.
And it is discovered.
He can't go there, you know he can't.
I have a duty.
You just said it's one place you must never go.
I'm about to cross my own timeline in the biggest way possible. The TARDIS doesn't like it. Die, reptile!
What is your name?
Please, stop it. Doctor Who? Doctor has a secret, you know.
What is your name?
And it is discovered.
I'm Clara Oswald. I was born to save the Doctor.
There is one place you must never, ever find yourself.
Whatever you're thinking of doing, don't. Doctor Who, the series finale, on BBC One and BBC One HD.
The finale is epic. It is such a treat for all of the fans. It goes somewhere dark, completely new. The Whisper Men are absolutely terrifying. I think what it is it's a monster, a villain with style. He's kind of got style. They don't chase you. They come at you kind of really slowly, and that kind of creepy confidence is absolutely terrifying.
Stephen has written one of his brilliant monsters again, called the Whisper Men. And they are really scary, really, really scary, and I think they'll be a fan's favourite, and they're particularly one of my favourites for this year. Richard E. Grant back in malevolent form, River Song back, Jenny, Vastra Strax back, the team back together again, trying to save the day, the gang. And I think throughout this season we're building up to the revelation in the last episode, and then it kicks us on somewhere else. And then of course the ending. That's the ending is the moment of moments.
What's this?
Oh, it arrived today. It's for you.
My dearest Clara, the doctor entrusted me with your contact details in the event of an emergency, and I fear one has now arisen.
Yes, those were all of the teaser trailers released ahead of Series 7 Episode 13, titled The Name of the Doctor. Here is my review for that episode. This story marks the return of Riversong, last seen in Series 7 Episode 5, The Angels Take Manhattan, which was the Series 7 Part 1 finale. This story also features the return of the Paternoster Gang, last seen in Series 7 Episode 11, The Crimson Horror. The Great Intelligence make their return, last seen in the 2012 Christmas special, Snowman. River, Clara, Jenny, Vash and Strax all meet in hallucinogenic reality. Clara meets all of the Doctors really. The first Doctor played by William Hartnell, the second Doctor played by Patrick Troughton, the third Doctor played by John Pertwee, the fourth Doctor played by Tom Baker, the fifth Doctor played by Peter Davison, the sixth Doctor played by Colin Baker, the seventh Doctor played by Sylvester McCoy, the eighth Doctor played by Paul McGann, the ninth Doctor played by Christopher Eccleston, the 10th Doctor played by David Tennant, and of course the 11th Doctor she's already met, who is played by the marvellous Matt Smith. Clara sacrifices herself to save the Doctor, which she does. Clara is crying when she cannot find the Doctor inside the Doctor's time stream. The Doctor saves Clara, the new incarnation of the Doctor, played by John Hurt, referred to as the War Doctor. Now, coming up next is the trailers. Yes, that's what we. Yes, yeah. No, because they're not in the order that I wanted them to be. So yeah, yeah. But so here are a few trailers for the 50th anniversary special titled The Day of the Doctor, which I will be reviewing shortly. But actually I'm going to do something slightly different to normal episodes. So yeah, instead of going straight into the review, there'll be a few mini episodes that I want to talk about. But here are the few trailers released ahead of the 50th anniversary special titled The Day of the Doctor.
I've been running all my life through time and space. Every second of every minute of every day for over 900 years. I fought for peace in a universe at war. Now the time has come to face the choices I've made in the name of the Doctor. Our future depends on one single moment of one impossible day. The day I've been running from all my life. The Day of the Doctor.
Elizabeth's credentials, Doctor.
But that's not possible.
Someday, you could just walk past a Fez.
Never gonna happen.
Instructed, it has been touched.
This is why we called you in.
3D again.
Interesting.
The broken glass?
No. Where is broken from? Look at the shatter pattern.
The glass in all these paintings has been broken from the inside.
As you can see, all the paintings are landscapes, no figures of any kind.
So?
There used to be.
Something's got out of the paintings.
Lots of some things. Dangerous.
This whole place has been searched. There's nothing here that shouldn't be, and nothing's got out.
Oh, no, not now.
Doctor, what is it?
No, not now. I'm busy.
Is it to do with the paintings?
No, this is different. I remember this. Almost remember. Oh, of course. This is where I come in.
Okay, thanks, David. We're ready to go.
Hi, the 50th anniversary special of Doctor Who has been looked forward to for, well, about 50 years now. And I've got in front of me the actual props that we're using. This is my space hat, which I wear throughout the episode. Can't tell you why, obviously it's very exciting. We're not using CGI anymore, so this is the Fnarg that will be threatening the Doctor. This is a washing up bowl. With the end of the CGI, this is now a special glitter effect that we've seen happening at various points. Quite good though, isn't it? It's quite effective. No expense has been spared to bring you this very exciting episode. So I hope that you enjoy it. Probably be quite good. That's all we've got. All right.
Do you want us to cut there?
Yeah. There's no more.
The episode involves a wonderful ensemble of actors. It's very transformational in terms of Doctor Who history. It's going to be really exciting.
I think I have to admit now that I'm in it.
All right, mate.
Matt Smith is probably in it. I'm confirming or denying nothing.
We've got David Tennant back in the saddle. We've got John Hurt.
A great script and full of fancy. A lot of fun. I can't give this a miss.
Those guys from 50 years ago, they managed to make something that lasted for 50 years, that was celebrated in 50 years' time. It can't be a big old statement of those were the days. You've got to say, and now the story really starts.
People have got a lot to look forward to. I think it'll be a very big thing for fans especially. I'm really excited about it.
I don't need to tease it. It's the 50th anniversary of Doctor Who. Of course you're going to watch it. Don't be ridiculous.
It's going to be a brilliant episode. It's huge.
So those were my, those were the teasers released ahead of the broadcast of the Day of the Doctor on the 23rd of November 2013. But yes, before I mentioned before I showed them that I would review the mini episodes. Well, I've watched one of them, the other one isn't really relevant, but I'm just going to include it, so I'm going to review it timely here, and then I'll move in to the Day of the Doctor review. And that is that Paul McGann returns as the 8th Doctor and regenerates into the War Doctor, played by John Hurt. That's basically what happens. So next up will be my review for the 50th anniversary special of Doctor Who, titled The Day of the Doctor. We are nearing the end of this episode, but before I go, it is time for my review of the Doctor Who 50th anniversary special titled The Day of the Doctor. The War Doctor meets the Moment, who is played by Billie Piper, who portrayed Rose Tyler in Series 1 and 2 of Modern Doctor Who as the Waking Companion, as well as making an elongated return in Series 4, Episode 11, 12 and 13. David Tennant returns as the 10th Doctor, who was obviously last seen in The End of Time Part 2 when he regenerated into Matt Smith's 11th Doctor. David Tennant's 10th Doctor and Matt Smith's 11th Doctor meet each other. The 10th and 11th Doctors compare their sonnets. The 11th Doctor flirts with the two Queen Elizabeth I that he finds when meeting the 10th Doctor. Both of these kiss the 10th Doctor. The 11th Doctor throws his fez into a wormhole, which the War Doctor ends up with. All the first 11th Doctor tries to surround Gallifrey to save it, along with the War Doctor and the 12th Doctor, played by Peter Capaldi, making his first appearance. All the Doctors save Gallifrey. John Hurt's War Doctor regenerates into the 9th Doctor, portrayed by Christopher Eccleston. The 11th Doctor meets a future incarnation of the Doctor called the Curator, played by Tom Baker, who, as I mentioned earlier in this episode, played the 4th Doctor, who tells the 11th Doctor that the Doctor's plan worked and they managed to save Gallifrey. Here are a few clips from the Doctor Who 50th Anniversary Special, The Day of the Doctor. So that's it for the Everything Podcast, Season 2, Episode 68. So in the next episode, I will be reviewing the 11th Doctor's regeneration story, titled The Time of the Doctor, and we will be starting Series 8 of Modern Doctor Who. So yeah, and of course we will have inspirational quotes as well. But that is it for the Everything Podcast, Season 2, Episode 68. Goodbye.